morning, SCC families, and welcome back to another family worship here at Seattle Community Church. My name is Esther, and I'm the Children's Ministry Director here at SCC, and I am so glad that you all could join us here today. Now, before we jump into our family worship lesson, I have an announcement for you all. Remember to sign up for our VBS 2021 coming to us here at SCC this August. Now, we are working hard to put together some awesome VBS kits full of fun games, crafts, and other activities for you all to do as a family at home. But we'd also like to invite you to join us each Sunday in August at 2 p.m. for a special online Zoom session where we'll be going through some of those crafts, playing some games, and just checking in with one another as we talk about our awesome Bible story each week. Now, to reserve your VBS kit and RSVP for those Zoom sessions, please visit tinyurl.com/scc-VBS2021. We'd love to have you all join us for VBS this year. All right, guys, now let's jump into our family worship lesson for today. I'd like to welcome you all to Space, the final frontier. Now, we are here to boldly do what needs to be done. We are ready for launch. All systems go for initiative. But what is initiative? Initiative is seeing what needs to be done and doing it. But it's not just astronauts in space who need initiative. You and I need initiative to take care of the things that need to be done here in our world every day. And with God's help, we can be on the lookout so we can see the needs around us, and then we can do something about them. I am so ready to jump back into the story of Nehemiah today because it gives us such a great example of initiative. Now, if you've been here this month, you might remember that Nehemiah traveled to Jerusalem to see the broken down city walls. He knew that the city wasn't safe without walls to protect it, so something had to be done. But Nehemiah didn't just wait for someone else to do it. He took initiative. He rallied the people to work together and rebuild the walls. And that's where our Bible story picks back up today.
Good day, space travelers! It is I, Jacob, and I'm here to take you to the very edge of the universe, or at the very least, the very edge of initiative. Initiative is seeing what needs to be done and doing it. Initiative is very important. Too often we see what needs to be done and we don't do it, usually because flashing red light? Red light? What could that mean? I'll have to check the Space Travel Manual. Red lights. Ah, red light. Computer malfunction alarm. To reset computer, press the blue button. Okay, good. Where was I? Yes, initiative. I was saying that sometimes we see what needs to be done, but then we don't do it because a blue flashing light. Blue light, blue light, blue light, blue light. Clogged toilets. To unclog, press the orange button. That'll do the trick. Man, it's really hard to focus around here. What I was saying was, a flashing orange light? Okay. Orange light, orange light. In today's story, we'll hear more about Nehemiah rebuilding the wall around Jerusalem. A really difficult job. Orange light. Got it. Whew. I hope Nehemiah doesn't lose focus. Oh man, what could that alarm be? Oh. I just got a text message. See you in a few.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Nehemiah, chapters 2, 4, and 6.
When Nehemiah traveled to Jerusalem and surveyed the broken down walls, he saw immediately what had to be done.
We must rebuild.
God moved the hearts of the people to join him.
Let's get started!
Hooray!
But while the Jewish people were eager to repair the tumble-down walls and ruined gates, the people in the lands around them were not so thrilled.
What do they think they're doing?
A city with no walls stood open to attack. The people inside could never become a strong nation. The enemies of the Jews knew that if the wall of Jerusalem was rebuilt, the Jewish people might become a powerful enemy.
They must cease and desist.
Sanballat, a Horonite, and Tobiah, an official from Ammon, marched right up to the place where the people gathered to begin work.
Pathetic. What a ragtag group. Why bother to even start? You shall never finish. Plus, the king is gonna think you're trying to take over.
Nehemiah kept his cool.
The God of heaven will give us success. We serve Him. So we'll start rebuilding the walls.
Good luck with that.
Nehemiah and the Israelites didn't need luck. They needed God's help. It was true that a few of the Jewish people were builders.
Let's see. We've got priests, nobles, goldsmiths, perfume makers, farmers, grape growers, shepherds, any stonemasons. Well, let's get organized.
Where he could, Nehemiah assigned each family group to work on a section of the wall closest to their home.
Eliashib, you and the other priests will rebuild the sheep gate. Then, work on the wall up to the Tower of the 100.
On it.
Hassanah's family, I want you to work on the fish gate, lay its beams, and repair the doors with metal bolts and bars.
We've got this.
Nehemiah continued to give each family or group a part of the wall to rebuild. Old and young, men and women, they put everything they had to gather the fallen stones and hewing beams. In a short time, the wall began to rise again.
Inconceivable!
Sanballat and Tobiah were shocked to see the Jews actually making progress. They would mock the work to anyone who would listen.
Do those Jews think they can make the wall new in a single day? Preposterous! The stones are all scattered and piled up like garbage. I suppose an itty-bitty fox tried to climb up on that excuse for a wall. Ah! The whole thing would fall down.
Once again, Nehemiah ignored the heckling. Instead, he prayed as he worked.
God, please listen to our prayer. Some people hate us. They're saying bad things about us. Don't hide your eyes from their guilt.
With a burst of energy, the people worked even harder until the wall was half as high as it needed to be.
Preposterous! Time for some action.
Tobiah and Sanballat began to plot with the surrounding nations to attack Jerusalem before the wall could be finished.
We must set guards, day and night.
Even with guards in place, enemies threatened, and the Jews were exhausted.
There's rubble everywhere, and our enemies say that no matter where we are, they'll attack.
Nehemiah refused to be distracted. He stationed families at the weakest parts of the walls, armed with swords, spears, and bows.
Don't be afraid. Fight for your families.
From that day, everyone carried their weapons, even as they worked.
If you hear the sound of the trumpet, run to join us. God will fight for us.
Nehemiah and the Jews worked from the very first light of sunrise until the stars came out at night. At last, the wall itself was finished.
It's full height. All the gaps are filled.
Yeah!
But we can't rest yet. The entrance gate still must be repaired.
Sanballat was furious, but he had another play to make. So he sent a message to Nehemiah, who was working high on the wall.
Sanballat says, "Come, let's talk with one another. Let's meet in one of the villages on the plain of Ono."
Oh no, I don't think so.
Nehemiah knew perfectly well they were planning to harm him, but he stayed focused on the work and sent his own messenger to Sanballat.
Nehemiah says, I am working on a huge project. Why should the work stop while I leave it? Why should I go down and talk with you?
Inconceivable! Try again.
5 times, Sanballat sent messages. He even threatened to tell the Persian king that Nehemiah was trying to make himself king.
Tell Sanballat you're just making that up.
Oh, I'll have to send another message.
Time for a new strategy.
Sanballat made one last desperate attempt. He hired a man named Shemaiah to make Nehemiah look bad with his own people.
Nehemiah, some men are coming at night to kill you. Let's go hide in the temple and lock the doors.
Nehemiah knew that God had not sent Shemaiah.
Should a man like me run away? No, I won't go.
Once again, Nehemiah saw through the tricks of his enemies. Instead of hiding away and looking foolish, he trusted God and doubled down on the work. On the 52nd day of work, the wall and gates were finished.
No!
The wall had been finished in record time by a group of ordinary, everyday people. It was clear to everyone that God had helped Nehemiah and the Jews stay focused and finish strong.
Can't talk now, gotta focus. Sorry about that. It's so easy to get distracted sometimes, isn't it? I mean, you probably don't get distracted by alarms and flashing lights, but there are a lot of things that can distract you. When you're supposed to be focusing on homework, you might get distracted by the TV or the internet. When you're supposed to be cleaning your room, you might end up playing with your toys. When you're supposed to be listening to your teacher, you're making funny faces at your friends. We get distracted by our stuff, by other people, even by our own thoughts and worries. There's so many things fighting for our focus. It can be overwhelming. I mean, look at Nehemiah. He was rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem. He had enemies on the outside and people fighting with each other on the inside. It would have been so easy for him to get distracted, but he stayed focused. I mean, look at Jesus. There were a lot of things that could have distracted Jesus from doing what he came here to do. But he stayed focused on what was most important, saving the world and making it possible for us to have a relationship with God. Staying focused isn't always easy, but when you focus, you can get things done quicker and better. So, the one thing to remember today is this: stay focused on what needs to be done. If you need help, take a minute or two to talk to God before you have something you need to focus on, and try to steer clear of the things that can distract you. I'm putting you on silent, and when in doubt, consult the Space Travel Manual, if you have one. What do all the lights mean? All the lights, all the lights, all the lights, all the lights. Oh. Dance party.
The wall was completed by a group of ordinary, everyday people, all because they stayed focused on the job they had to do. It was clear to everyone that God helped them finish strong. They didn't let other people distract them or bully them into stopping. They kept working because they knew that God was with them. Now, when we see something that needs to be done, we can take the initiative to do it. And with God's help, we can stay focused and do whatever it takes to get the job done. Remember, stay focused on what needs to be done. Let's ask God to help us with that. Bow your heads with me. Dear God, thank you for reminding us today that you are with us when we go through something hard. You are with us when we need to finish a difficult task and we feel like giving up. You are with us when we're nervous or scared. Please help us remember that you're always with us so we can stay focused on what needs to be done. We love you and we pray these things in Jesus' name, amen. Wow, what a powerful story. Nehemiah and the people could have felt overwhelmed by all of the work that they had to do in Jerusalem and by the challenges they had to face, especially when they had to deal with people trying to distract them. But they didn't back down. They stayed focused on the job that they had to do. Remember, God is strong and faithful. He can give us strength to do the work that He has called us to do. We can trust God no matter what. When we remember that, we can stay focused on what needs to be done. In fact, that's what we need to remember today. Stay focused on what needs to be done. That's definitely something that we can see in the life of Jesus. There was a lot that could have distracted Jesus from doing what He had come to do. But He stayed focused on what was most important. He had come to save the world and make it possible for us to have a relationship with God. He didn't let anything stop Him. Now, if we're not careful, we can get distracted from doing things like homework or chores around the house because, let's face it, we'd rather play video games or watch TV. We can start to lose focus when we feel worried or afraid. Sometimes we can be distracted by people who try to get us to do something that we know we shouldn't do. It's not always easy to stay focused on what needs to be done. But remember, we can always ask God for help because He is with us today and every day. That reminds me of our Bible verse for this month, Colossians 3:23. Say it with me. Work at everything you do with all your heart. Work as if you were working for the Lord. I love it. This week, let's stay focused on what needs to be done and work on it with all of our hearts. With God's help, we can do it. And that's what our family worship lesson is all about today. I've put together 3 activities to help you guys dive deeper into the story of Nehemiah and explore what it looks like for you to stay focused on what needs to be done in your lives. You can find the family worship lesson along with tons of other resources in the OneDrive at tinyurl.com/scc-family worship. And don't forget to sign up for VBS, which is coming next month. We would love to have you all join us as we play lots of fun games, do crafts, activities, and of course, talk about Bible stories each week. We hope that you guys will join us. Don't forget to register at tinyurl.com/scc-VBS2021. All right, guys, I'll see you all next week. Have a good one.